Yep.
Okay. Meeting called to order, please stand and salute the flag. Pledge
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call for members, please.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Here.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you. The approval of the minutes from the last meeting, November 8th.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 8th. Just one change, Julie. It's on page 3. After 34,300, it says 5%. I think it probably means 5% up or 5% increase, or
I think it was titled percentum, I think is the
Yeah,
way it
it
was.
was.
literally was.
Yeah,
how
it was,
labeled?
yes, I
Okay.
believe so,
All
I
right.
believe so.
All right,
So too.
then no changes.
I'll second that, Jason's motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the minutes?
No.
If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Any presentations or petitions from members of the community? Move on to supervisor's report. So good evening. Here we are in December already, and I want to wish everyone a safe, healthy, and Merry Christmas. Believe it or not, there's only 12 days left. Another year went. The next defensive driving course is being held on March 11th, 2023. This will again be held at the Rosses Point Civic Center Meeting Room. Their meeting room has been appreciated as it provides abundant room for the classes. Thank you to Rosses Point for hosting. Our next leadership meeting is scheduled next month on January 11th. Topics on the agenda are contracts with Champlain EMS and discussions with the EMS board in regards to the 2024 budget. We are continually moving forward with our marketing initiative, and this will be reported by Councilmember Mr. Bory. And ongoing, I've been working on many projects that will come to fruition this year in regards to Restore New York grant funding to address abandoned properties, upgrades to our water booster station, and several solar projects, which will now follow guidance under our new solar law. The Plattsburgh Rotary conducted a holiday card collection. The donated cards were collected by the JCO, collected here and then sent to the JCO, who distributed them to seniors that are homebound in nursing homes and hospitals. Thank you for your donations. The number of cards that were delivered here was tremendous. Announcements. Our town offices will be closed one half day Friday, PM, December 23rd, and Monday, December 26th, to observe Christmas holiday. Typo, I'm sorry. And our town offices will be closed half day Friday PM, December 30th, and Monday, January 2nd, to observe the New Year's holiday. No, we still have COVID tests, surgical masks and KN95 masks available, and people do still stop in and pick some up once in a while. And again, the town is still looking to appoint more alternates to the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Planning Board. Please consider serving the town in this capacity, as we need talented citizens of this township to become involved and assist us in moving forward. Please contact me if you have interest for details. And please have a safe, pleasurable holiday season. Happy holidays and Happy New Year's to everyone. Thank you. And I'd just like to go on and update the board a little bit in a couple of things at this time. So to update you on the water tank, you know, we had RFPs out to a total of 10 contractors. We had some decline because they didn't have time. One in particular declined because of the height, and several that didn't, you know, reply. So we've been working, trying to contact them to try to narrow it down, to see what's going on, and we weren't getting anywhere. So I went to Willie Giroux because his electricians have done work on the tank, putting the GPS system on it. And for the past week, been going back and forth. Willie was more than willing to help us out, but it turns out that his electrical men don't have time to do it. Basically, I think in his email it was, I'm sorry, but they feel they're too inundated with the work that we have to do on our own. I'm gonna have to back out. But he did call Tom Roberts at Ace, and he gave me his contact information. He's one of the ones that we had sent an RFP to, and I called him today, so I'm meeting him tomorrow. He said he didn't reply because they were way too busy, but now he thinks he has time. So I'm not sure if Mr. Drew was convincing
A little
or
pressure.
I'm not sure. All I know is that at least I got somebody to come and look at it.
Yeah.
Because Aquastor wants to do the install on the 20th of December. It's gonna take a couple days to drain the tank and empty it and prepare it. And so this is something that's gotta get done basically next week. So that's where we're at with that. I just wanted to bring you up to speed because it's been a ongoing struggle. And then as you saw in the email from the comptroller's office in regards to the EDU tax, I don't have a lot of details. I'm waiting to hear back from that still. I'll email them again today. We don't know if we have to start that immediately or not. And we only have till the 16th of December as a drop dead deadline with the county. So I'll just once I find out what's going on, I'll send out an email to all of you and give you the details. And then I have a note here from Sarah that we please make sure that we state that we received the letter from the court, but see that's in the agenda, correct? In regards to the books?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So we need to take care of that at our year-end meeting once we schedule it. So that's all I have.
So, was Jerry gonna be coming tonight? Or did I misunderstand that?
Yes, he was. And he contacted me today. His daughter had a,
Christmassy thing?
yeah, I don't wanna call it a
It's
recital, I
just-
don't know if that's the right word.
Concert.
Program, a concert,
Concert.
and he didn't realize it, and so,
I
no
understand.
worries, we'll talk about that when we get to his appointment. Reports from the council members.
I have nothing. Nothing that new and exciting to report to you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Bory?
All right, I'll start with zoning. Zoning had a meeting on November 17th. They discussed, there was a new application for consideration from Great Chazy Solar LLC. There was a presentation and a discussion. And that is being, is there a variance on that, Julie? Was that what they were looking for, or that, no? That
They
was-
need special use approval.
that was a special use. And then the other, was a discussion from the Champlain Fire District. They were asking the Zoning Board of Appeals to be the lead agency for environmental quality review and for special use approval. The next zoning board meeting is scheduled for Thursday, December 15th at 5:30 PM here at the town office. And at that same time, there'll also be a public hearing, and of course, the meeting is open to the public. Marketing committee update. I have reached out to Boyer Benner. They haven't got back to me, so it's just a matter of, I think they work on projects and then they kind of focus in on that and they don't, so I don't have anything updated from them. I hope that can be soon, so. But yeah, so that's probably a little disappointing, but I have nothing more from them. Did and have spoken with Paul Frederick, and we are filming the winter commercial. So Paul was here on Saturday with Tiana, and we filmed at the Rouse's Point Fire Department Parade of Lights. So we filmed there, we got her on the float with Santa and Mrs. Claus, and we did our dialogue. It was good. It was very cold that night for anybody that was watching it, but it was a fantastic parade. And then also, we have been shooting other holiday winter events here in the town. So that includes the Parade of Lights that was in Champlain. So we did get that, as well as caroling. Meeting House had an exchange of people and presents and Santa and tree lighting at Paquette Park. We got that. The tree lighting in Rouse's Point and the Parade of Toys that happened earlier. So there's been several things we've been able to film.
That sounds good.
Yes, it's been really good. So, and again, there's a little bit of comedy built into the script, so it's good. So it'll highlight the wonderful, the wonderful aspects of our, yeah, you got that. So I have that, so winter stuff, and so meeting with Paul next week as well to try to finalize all of the shot locations, and we're waiting for snow basically. We did get a little snow, but we need a little more snow, so we're just kind of waiting for that snowfall. We're gonna have, there's some shots of Tiana, the snow's coming down.
Friday.
Yeah, so,
Friday.
so we're trying to, so part of our shooting is gonna be weather dependent, interestingly enough, where before we were looking for, nice sunny days, now we're looking for wintry days, yeah, so, and then coordinating when there's ice on the lake, and so it's just, some of that's gonna
Oh,
take some
that's
time.
coming too.
Yeah, so, but yeah, so we're working on that schedule, and the script is, I would say, for the most part, done. So yeah, so that's the marketing committee. Next one would be water, so water commission here. So Supervisor Trombley and I met on November 11th, and we spent a few hours looking over the Town of Champlain Water Code, as well as looking at the Village of Champlain Water Code, and we looked at the Town of Plattsburgh, and so we tried to do some, what's the best word, corrective measures that we find our water code doesn't address some of the things that we needed to address with hookups and maintenance and those kinds of things. So you'll find at each of your stations a working draft of the code, and you can peruse that at your leisure. It's surely not complete, and I think the request from the supervisor is gonna be maybe if somebody else would like to get involved with this, it might be good to have a third set of eyes looking over a few things, just to make sure that we're getting everything in here that we need to have in here.
Right, I think we could use some help with it, so if somebody.
Were you comparing it to, that's what you were doing, taking the, the one from Plattsburgh and?
Yeah, we, when we're looking at new hookups, now that the project, is not really new anymore, how do we ensure that we're doing it the right way and making sure that it's uniform?
And not to the cost of the water fund, because.
Right.
The last hookup cost us a ton of money, and it's.
Oh, that was,
That's part that's driving this, so we're gonna have, a commercial hookup coming up. Plattsburgh has a great, it needs to be attached to this, so if whoever's gonna help out, I'll email it to you. Scott Sutter provided, they have a whole schedule of charges in regards to cutting and going across the road compared to drilling and going under, and for commercials, they're responsible for paying for that. They gotta get to, we put the street valve in, the street stop valve, whatever it is.
Yes, curb stop is like.
Thank you, that's the word I was looking for, and they gotta get to that. And I can tell you that in a lot of cases, they don't expect that, but, Scott's like, no, he said, we're not drilling underneath state highways. So I think we need to follow a lot of what they do, and, you know, of course, like
For
the
guidance,
village
yeah.
doesn't have, the village had a lot of help for us in here, but they don't have a lot with new hookups either, you know, cause
Yes.
as the mayor said, we haven't dealt with new hookups in so long that.
Until a development came in, or
So-
until
Yeah,
I mean, probably you don't have
right.
that every day.
You know,
So if we're gonna make the changes, then we might as well make sure that when we make the changes, we put all the right stuff in there.
correct.
So we are void of some things, but this is a working draft, so this is a start to put in pieces we don't have. There's also a couple of other things in there. I'll note that there's hydrant, language in there.
Mhm.
That's another thing that we wanted to address, so there's another section in there about the hydrants. So just take a look at that and determine that we have all the right language we want for that, including we even put some fine amounts in there. So, we're trying to beef up our water code, so.
And I think the permit that you see towards the back here from Plattsburgh is.
Is an example
It's
for us
an
to
example for
use,
us to use.
some paperwork, basically, as,
Actually, I asked the town of Plattsburgh to use it, it was fine. But you'll see that there's inspection fees and connection fees, and they're left blank, and that's when I asked Scott why, and he says, because we have a schedule, so he sent me the schedule. You know, what they do is when somebody comes in, it depends on what type of a hookup it is, then they fill those dollar amounts in. It's something we need to get done soon, because we're gonna be addressing it probably before spring. That's why I think we need help, because it's a fair amount of work. We've done a lot, and you did a lot,
Oh
Jason.
my goodness,
But we
yeah. I mean,
gotta,
just gathering together the examples and, you
Yeah.
know, having something to compare against is huge.
no, I'm gonna lean on Rick, cause Rick understands this process. We're building forms and we're realizing we
Exactly.
need extra language, or, you know, so it's a work in progress.
Right.
So that's the water report.
anybody willing to help them out, or help us out, I should say, in the
I'd be
Work
happy
committee
to help
together?
you.
I'd be happy to also, so just let me know what I can do.
Okay. We'll put something together figure out where our next step is in Jason.
All right, that sounds good. So there's that. And hometown hero banners, that's gonna be one of my final things here. We still are accepting applications. We're gonna take them through to the end of December. There's always a possibility that we might get some right after that, but if you are interested in a hometown heroes banner for 2023, please consider getting an application in by the end of the month. And if you want an application, you can contact Sarah Gagno here at the town office, 518-298-8160, extension 202. And we'll be reviewing the new applications in January, so that's why it's important to get your application in. And I want to say a special thanks to, I mentioned this earlier with marketing, but special thanks to the Village of Rouse's Point, Mayor LaBounty, Village Administrator Chris Lattimore, Village of Champlain Mayor McFetridge, Mary Sousa, who works at the Village of Champlain office, the employees, all the employees of both villages that are out working, putting up Christmas decorations, holiday lights, making everything look bright and cheerful, that are throughout the villages in both Champlain and Rouse's Point. And also a huge shout out to the two fire departments, Champlain Fire Department and Rouse's Point Fire Department, for all of the efforts that they're making at the village level, at the fire departments, for all the holiday events, and it's really been something. If you're keeping track of this, it's quite a calendar of things. So, much appreciation. The residents appreciate it, we appreciate it. It's been really great. They're not done yet. There's still more going on right through the end of the year. So, you know, nobody should be saying there's nothing to do here. There's plenty to do. So ends the report.
Thank you, Jason, well said.
I don't have
Councilmember Moore?
anything,
Okay.
just happy to be here.
We're
Glad
happy
to
to
have
have
Good
you.
to have you, that's right.
We're happy to see you here. Councilmember Hunter.
Just a few things. I know a lot of people in the surrounding areas have been asking about public skating and stick and puck, so I just want to provide some times and schedules for that. On 12/17 and 12/18, stick and puck will be held from 1:30 to 2:30 and 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. That is stick and puck. And public skating on 12/17 will be from 3 to 4:30, and on 12/18 from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. We've got a beautiful facility down there, so I encourage people in the community that are looking to get out and get on the skates. The opportunities are there. Also, just to kind of piggyback Tom's announcement on the defensive driving, one of the things that you need to realize is that you need to arrive at that March 11th, 9 a.m. defensive driving course 10 minutes early. They don't want you to just show up right at 9 a.m. And also, number two, if that is not available for your time schedule, there is defensive driving that can be done online at www.additionaltraining.com. So I want to kind of make sure that that's out there for folks that want to take advantage of that 10% savings or
Yes,
possibly a
thanks,
point reduction.
Thank you.
Also, the fire department's parade of lights. I cannot tell you how many people have approached me and told me how exciting and how vibrant it is to have things like that in our community. So I'm going to piggyback you on that also, Jason, and just kind of point that out. And coming up on December 17th, the Rouse's Point Fire Department will be holding the children's party from noon till 3 p.m. So take advantage of that, please. In terms of the Champlain Fire Department, I had a discussion with their fire chief, and I was told that it is the town's responsibility for not only inspection but maintenance of all fire hydrants. So one of the things that I want to do is have some discussions with Supervisor Tremblay on this, because there is one hydrant, I believe it's across from the 79 Dubois Road, that is out of service. And so whether or not we want to kind of identify with removal of the hydrant, or whether or not we want to kind of move forward with the repair of that particular hydrant, that needs to be something that we need to look at. I asked him in terms of location, where the next hydrant's in proximity to that, because we want to make sure that all residential and commercial properties will have, that's correct, access to water to kind of, if something did present itself. And he said it's about 1,000 feet in both to the west and to the east. So that's something that we can have some further discussions on. I know that.
Is this one near the bridge?
Yes, it is. That is correct. And I know that the village of Champlain has been in talks with the Champlain Fire Department in regards to a lot of the breaks that they're having, and I know the village is looking to possibly have some installation of piping done in the spring of 2023. And that's something that, we want to kind of keep in mind, as we move into the winter months, to kind of identify with, inspection schedules of these hydrants, and just making sure that, that we do have them operational, so. Also, the Champlain Fire Department is in the process of still trying to work on the funding and for their loans for their fire station through the rural development, and that is still in motion. They're also looking to purchase gear sets. Unbeknownst to a lot of the people inside of our township, they probably do not realize the cost associated with fireman gear sets, which are pants, coats, boots, and helmets, but they have a 10-year lifespan, as indicated by the NFPA, and they're $3,000 for each of those sets. And the fire department's looking to actually purchase 2 of those, so just to kind of let people know how important it is with not only the people that are, volunteers in our fire department, but also the actual resources that go into kind of protecting us. The last thing I want to announce is that, as we know, there's always families that in fact do not have anything around the holidays, and the Christmas Bureau's annual toy drive will kind of wrap up through December 16th, and any drop-offs unwrapped can be dropped off at 202 US Oval in Plattsburgh. The number is 518-562-1986. So that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Mr.
Actually, I
Hunter.
do have something else to report. I gave everybody a copy of, as we move into the winter months, Supervisor Tremblay had sent out an email about the possibility of attending a winter energy fair at Clinton Community College. And so what I'm gonna do is each of the council individuals have a copy of this, but I'm gonna ask that Sarah possibly put this out on the town's website. There's a lot of links here that kind of address areas like consumer protection, managing heating costs, conserving energy, winter safety, winter publications, consumer assistant events, and also New York Gov Heat. Different topics that were covered were energy affordability, financial assistance, weatherization, energy efficiency, and service for older adults, supplemental nutrition assistance, and home efficiency workshops, and also weatherization kits. You'll see, once you can peruse this particular document, that there were a number of agencies there, and so I've kind of put contact information as well as some of the things that they can help us out with as we have started to see the temperatures drop, and we know the actual cost of heating is soaring. We want to make sure that all of our constituents have access to these different resources, so.
That's great, Rex, great idea.
So-
Forwarded that out, I hadn't thought of that, it's awesome.
So, and then the last thing that I have is, everybody received an update on the EDU Appeals Committee that met on December 1st. There were 6 different parcels that we had to make evaluations on, and so all of the council people have this, indicating exactly that these particular count appeals now have been resolved, and that whatever changes that were necessary are noted on this document, so,
Okay,
thank you. Now I'm done.
thank you. So I guess I'm just gonna real quick piggyback on something I forgot to mention. I just wanted to congratulate Rouse's Point. I wanted to congratulate the mayor, the administrator, and the board for their achievement and working to get a new company into that building 25.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. It's progress, real progress. So it may start the wheels. So congratulations, Rouse's Point. Report from the town clerk.
I just have my report that needs approval.
I make a motion that we approve the town clerk's report, November 1st through November 30th.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Usually do a call night, Drew? No, huh?
No, I don't think so.
No, just all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Yara.
Thank you.
Okay, review of post audit bills. Any questions?
One thing I'd like to point out, Supervisor Tremblay, is that each year the town actually provides substantial funding to each of the libraries, the Champlain Memorial Library as well as the Dodge Memorial Library in both the villages of Champlain and Rouse's Point, and we urge individuals to take advantage of the wonderful resources that they have there. One question I did have is in regards to Kuster Associates.
Yep.
There was a sewer administration in the amount of $1,320. Can
Correct.
somebody kind of bring me up to speed on what that is?
So that was the bill we received for when we got Kester down here to, basically assess the needs of that lift station on Duval Road.
Okay.
And there's also a rental fee, I wanna say the rental was somewhere to the tune of $400 or so,
Okay.
because they installed a replacement interface
Mm-hmm.
while waiting for ours to come in. It's in. I have not been able to achieve getting them to give us a schedule, a date of when they're gonna finish this work. I'm a little concerned. I hope we don't get another bill for another rental.
Right.
No,
Okay.
because that wasn't planned. But yeah, that's mostly the travel expenses and the labor. Okay? Any other questions on the post audit? And then,
Signs, I noticed there was something on there for Clinton County Highway Department, where are signs,
I think that was,
is that referencing?
I think that was Alan getting road signs, you know, like, for example, you know, like one of them was on Roxanne Road, another one may have been, I'm trying to remember, Missile Base Road.
Okay,
There was a whole number of street signs that he had to replace.
Yeah.
okay.
Some were taken or missing.
Okay, that's all I had on the bills.
Okay, anybody else? If not, we'll move on to approval of the monthly bills. And we don't have any additions, do we, Julie?
No.
Awesome.
I'll make a motion to accept the monthly bills.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. That's for a total of $16,044.80.
Mhm.
Any discussion? No, roll call, please.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. We have a report from the code enforcement officer. Are there any questions regarding that? Take time to review it.
I did have one question, or a couple questions on that. I noticed that there were two indications where water was turned off, on Route 11. Just inquiring as to whether or not there's people going away from receiving water from the town, or whether or not that's a,
No, I think one of them was, the Southwood Garage, for example.
Oh, it is?
Maybe they turn it off for the winter.
okay,
I think that
so
was
it's a
one of them.
seasonal,
I'm pretty sure that's what
okay.
these were about. That's what that Route 11 one was anyways. And I don't remember what the other one is.
Okay.
So that's correct, right? Either one of them were terminations.
I have no idea, I didn't know nothing about it.
Yeah, you would have been notified. No?
No, I wasn't, so I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, so it's probably just a,
No, I can ask Kristen, there's two of these. Maybe it's a typo,
thank you.
because I only moved the one.
I didn't know if it was just a repeat, or,
No, it could be
could be.
a mistake, too, yeah.
Again, a very busy man,
Report from, the SCA.
extremely.
We have a report from the dog control officer. You guys review that. It hasn't been too bad of a month in regards to cost. If there's no questions on that, we'll move to correspondence. Planning board minutes from November 10th and December 1st meeting. And then the zoning board minutes from November 17th. Charter communications notifications. And if you need me to stop at any point, if you have questions on these, let me know, okay? And then we have letter regarding uniform justice court records and docket, which we need to address at our year-end meeting. So that's our next step, schedule that year-end meeting. What-
Hard to believe, but we're almost there, aren't we?
Yeah, we usually do it that last week of December.
Correct.
Sometime, depending on what's, everybody's schedule looks like. I would be happy to, as I have the past few years, go through and actually review the justice court records. So,
Okay. Very good. I appreciate that.
yeah, it takes a while, but it's pretty, they're so well organized that it doesn't take as long as people would think.
Now, do you come here to do that, or? do you-
Yeah, no, they stay right here
Yeah, so-
inside, and then they have to, usually Sarah or Julie will come and they'll take them and they'll put them in the safe, so,
Okay,
yeah. So, no, they don't leave the building.
I didn't think so. So do you just schedule that?
Typically, what
Meeting then?
what has been done in the past is after our end of the year meeting, people usually will leave and I'll stay and kind of look through those records. That way they're done before the beginning of the new year.
Do we need to approve them at that meeting, or?
Yes.
Yes. So in other words, they have to be reviewed and then approved at the January meeting?
No,
No?
year in.
Yeah,
So without seeing them, I don't know. We've always done in the past where they've been done that day of, so
Is there any way you could review them before that meeting?
depending on schedule, yes.
Okay. So when do we wanna schedule that meeting for everybody? What's good for you?
This is the end of the year meeting you're talking about.
That's correct.
Yeah, like Wednesday, middle of the week, and I'm sure that if we hit either end, we're gonna run into the either holiday. So I was looking at Wednesday, cause it's right in the middle.
Wednesday's a good day for me. Really, that weekend, or that week is, the only day I have to work is the 27th.
And then my only concern about the Wednesday is getting my son, that's when he's leaving to go back out. He's flying back out on the 28th, but again, that's fine. We can work around it.
What time, what's the time?
I don't know what time he's flying back out, to be very honest with you, so.
Okay. Is the 29th better then?
Let me text him right
Tuesday?
now. He's, he got Wi-Fi in the air, so.
Oh,
So other than Rick, is like 28th or 29th good for everybody else?
yes.
And what time do you usually do this? Midday, right?
Morning, afternoon, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think we did it in the past where it was 9 AM, wasn't it?
It's usually in the morning.
Yeah. What time is it? He's gonna think I'm trying to push him out the door already. He isn't even to the airport yet.
I don't think you'll miss this weather.
No, he won't.
Of course, today is better than yesterday was.
All right, let's see what he says. Back, then I can,
Will we come back to that then?
yeah, if you want, we can move on and then come back, or.
Okay. So the next thing is appointment for a seat on the planning board. Rob Olsterholm has stepped down.
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
He did mention to me, he was thinking about that.
yeah.
Nice.
He
How many
did-
years has he served on that?
I don't know.
Long
Do you know? Long time?
Yeah, I think,
Since the
well, I mean,
beginning.
I was astounded how long I
Really?
served on it,
Yeah, so
so.
long.
He was there pretty much the whole time, I think.
Yeah,
Hmm.
since the beginning.
So anyways, we needed to fill his seat. I had, worked with Jerry Cohen a little bit several months ago. He'd gone to a training, and afterwards we talked, and he said that he was considering it, and that fell through the cracks, I didn't get back to him, so I called him up, and he was very interested. He attended the training in Plattsburgh last week. I was hoping to have him here in case you all had questions for him, because I didn't do very much of an interview. I mean, like I said, this has been ongoing a little bit. But I think he would be a good member. I would recommend appointing him to that seat.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so,
Need a motion?
yeah, I mean, I'll make a motion to appoint Jared Cohen to the open seat on the planning board.
And I'll second that motion.
Any discussion in regards to that appointment?
Nope.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Could we make the addition that we possibly do something for the individual who's stepping down from the planning board?
Robert, yeah?
Yeah. I think
This is a very nice.
he's served as long as it's, sounds like he probably deserves a little recognition for that.
Mhm.
So when was the last time that they meet in December?
Who will we do?
We already met, so we don't meet till January.
So,
Have we ever done anything like that? Any suggestions?
No, we never have. Not that I,
Or is that like some sort of thank you certificate
Yeah.
for service?
That sounds nice.
that's a,
That'd be easy to do, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'll work on that. Get you guys done. I'll figure out, just send it to him or call him in or whatever. We'll go from there. Let's just not forget to go back and schedule that year-end meeting. That'll do it. Then we have penalties that need to be approved.
transfers.
Oh, sorry, yes, sir, approved transfers. We have transfers for budget accounts in December. Let me just read these off and we'll approve them all
sure,
together.
let's
Yeah, that sounds good.
identify them.
So, from A 1990.4, the contingency account, to A 3510.4, control of dog contractual. We're removing 8,500 from contingency, 1,000's going to dog control, and then 2,500 to A 1680.4 computer contractual, and 5,000 to A 8725.4 post monitoring. And then from playground capital outlay, B 7140.2, 5,000, and from playground contractual, B 7140.4, $1,000. Transfer to B 4790.0, hometown heroes, 3,500, and to B 8160.4, street cleaning contractual, 2,500. And then from DB 5130.405, machinery contractual, $750, to DB 5130.405, machinery diesel.
The only question I have is what is the post monitoring? What is that in reference to?
I can answer that.
Okay,
I can answer
so if
that.
we can just get an answer for the next meeting, that's fine.
You can do that.
The playground fund, is that just one playground or?
I believe, do we have a separate fund, Brian, for repairs mills?
We do.
Compared to
Yes.
yeah. I don't know which one's which. We'll have to ask
But
Sarah
there's
as
more than
well.
one, right?
Well, that's the only playground, the other one's the park.
Right.
Oh, well, but kids play there, I'm sure of it.
Oh, yeah, they do.
You know, so
I've heard some very nice things about, you know, our
do you want me to find
trail
out which one that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's find out. I mean, it'd be good to just kind of nail it down.
Are we allowed to ask questions now still?
Mm-hmm.
The from and to on the last one you read, they're exactly the same.
Yeah, they're just moving it from one, oh, is that the same number?
So it's contractual, and so I don't
Yeah,
know,
but
like,
it's
if
got
they
the same
put,
number, that's not correct.
that, the number is the same, correct,
Yeah,
but the actual account
thank
is
you for
different.
that.
Yeah,
I think it's two different accounts, one's contractual, and one's
Right.
machinery diesel, but I think there's a typo there.
It's probably just one number difference, right?
Yeah. So can we do a motion to approve, with corrections, and we email the corrections tomorrow? Or you want me to try calling Sarah? Cause I can answer this.
Or we can do them at the year end.
Can you be done then? Cause it's still December.
yeah, it can still be done at the end of the
All
year.
right.
Why not?
Okay, let's move these
I
two.
thought I had a copy of it.
So this is tabled until next week.
Yes, we'll table the transfers until the year-end meeting. Okay. Any motions to table that?
I'll make a motion that we table the
Discuss that.
actual, transfers for budget accounts for the month of December.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried, it's tabled. Now we need the penalty, it needs to be approved. That's further information. What's it about?
Remember you called and we didn't approve it last month, and then after getting further information, we decided, we did a phone.
So last month, did we table it, or did we?
No,
No, we didn't table it. We, made decisions on each of those, correct, Julie?
yes,
I
we
think
did
so.
approve this one, and then when you called him, he was not happy.
And then we did more research.
And after finding out more research, I think you did an email or a phone thing.
We did, it was by email, but remember we emailed the facts out to everybody, and everybody was in concurrence
Yes.
Correct.
to get rid of the penalty.
Right, I do
I
remember.
remember it now too. I didn't realize it was the same one, sorry. Should've recognized his name. And I tried calling him back to reach out to him, and I wasn't able to reach him, his voicemail was full. Will we send him something that this is done, so he's aware?
Again,
Okay. So I need based on those facts, and so we document it now in this meeting, I mean, we've already all voted on it,
Mhm.
so do we run another vote? What's the best way to document this? I'm assuming,
maybe
right?
you
I-
amend your
I would just,
decision.
I would just say that, amend the actual decision, that, in lieu of no information, that, now the town agrees to waive the EDU late charge
Yes, the penalty of 3401.
penalty of, in the amount of $34. Correct.
And we're all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. So motion carries, it's waived. schedule?
No, I didn't see anything yet. So, again, he's in Philadelphia now, so he's probably having something to eat.
It's gotta be a long thing, I think.
Okay, so,
Left at 1:10 this afternoon. His time.
we did not go into the public hearing at 6:45. So I guess we're gonna go into it late, nobody was here. So, need a motion to leave regular meeting, go into public hearing for local law number 6 of 2022.
Make a motion to leave the regular meeting and go into public hearing on local law number 6 of 2022.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So this was presented last month. I will read off the purpose and intent again. This local law provides for the administration and enforcement of the New York State Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code, known as the Uniform Code, and the State Energy Conservation Construction Code, known as the Energy Code, in this town. This local law is adopted pursuant to section 10 of the Municipal Home Rule Law, except as otherwise provided in the Uniform Code, the Energy Code, other state law, or other section of this local law. All buildings, structures, and premises, regardless of use or occupancy, are subject to the provisions of this law. And since there's nobody here to speak on behalf of this, we close the public hearing and go in and approve the law.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing and go back into regular session.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, back in regular business, and now we need a motion to approve the law as written.
I make a motion that we approve local law number 6 for the year 2022, establishing a local government code enforcement program.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, all in favor? Is there any further discussion, I should say?
The only further discussion I have on it, in reading through it, is they make mention of the town board possibly needing to appoint an acting code enforcement officer in case our appointed code enforcement officer could not do the work, and I'd just like to know direction where we get headed with that with the town. So,
We could do that at the January meeting.
yeah, we could,
Yeah,
that's fine,
yeah.
but I just wanna bring it to our attention, just to
You're right.
give everybody a chance to look through it. It's a long document, there's a lot there.
Would you refer to it as
Acting,
just acting?
Yeah,
Replacing just acting?
appoint an acting code enforcement officer,
Okay,
and I didn't know if it might entail someone from another municipality,
I think it
know
will.
where we've got a shared service with or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll have to look into that. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yep.
I do remember seeing it too.
And I didn't know, with some of this local law number 6, if it will require additional training for our current code enforcement officer.
May.
There seems to be quite a bit there.
Mm-hmm. And May, I'll talk to him about it.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor of passing local law number 6?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. So we need to get that. Do you want this copy, Julie, or you have one?
I have her.
Okay, resolution 24. We've had time to review it. We'll go ahead and read this out, and then we'll vote on it. Resolution number 24, to amend section 200 of employee classifications of the Town of Champlain Employee Handbook. Whereas the Town of Champlain Handbook Employee Classifications subsection 201 defines full-time employee as requiring a minimum work schedule of 30 hours per week. And whereas the Town of Champlain Board recognizes the need for clarity in this definition to include elected official, and whereas the definition of full-time employee is amended to read as follows. For purposes of this employee handbook, the term full-time employee will mean an employee or elected official who regularly works a minimum of 30 hours weekly throughout the year. And whereas the Town of Champlain Handbook Employee Classification subsection 202 defines part-time employee as an employee that is regularly scheduled to work less than 30 hours per week. And whereas the Town of Champlain Board recognizes the need for clarity in this definition to include elected official, and whereas the definition of part-time employee is amended to read as follows. For purposes of this employee handbook, the term part-time employee will mean an employee or elected official who regularly works less than 30 hours weekly throughout the year. Therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Champlain does hereby amend subsections 201 and 202 of the employee handbook as described by resolution. I have motions to approve, and if there's any discussion on it, we can have discussion at that time.
I make a motion that we approve resolution number 24 to amend section 200 of employee classifications of the Champlain Employee Handbook, Town of Champlain Handbook, excuse me.
Have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, any discussion? I don't know if you had time to go to the handbook and read what was there, it just left a little vagueness. And it was brought to my attention that it was vague, and I read it, I interpreted it as written here, but only after reading it a couple of times and really thinking about it, I go, I think that's what it's meant to say. It just wasn't clear enough when it came to elected official. You know, it didn't define it clearly enough, so, I mean, essentially, we couldn't afford to have all the council members on the insurance.
Mhm.
And it left room for, wow, geez, could I get it? It just really wasn't clear enough, so I hope this is clarifying it well enough that it's crystal clear.
Yeah, that 30 hours, I mean, that's very standard, I think.
That was there, it just wasn't clarified well enough for the elected official. It was already there, the 30 hours, I didn't add that. But
Well, I'm sure that, you know, when it gets to Jeff Travers, he would be bringing this up to
This,
us.
this will be, you know, after this is approved,
Mhm.
you know, a copy will go in the handbook so we can follow it.
Right.
But yes, it will be sent to Jeff to see if we can add this while he's working on the handbook.
Good. Might as well, I mean, while we're at it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 25, to set a public hearing for local law number 1 of 2023. Resolution number 25, to set a public hearing and refer to county planning proposed local law number 1 of 2023. An amendment to chapter 130 zoning, section 3, subsection 130-98 and subsection 130-99. Whereas proposed local law number 1 of 2023 would amend chapter 130, section 3, subsection 130-98 and subsection 130-99 of the town zoning law. And whereas the town board desires to hold a public hearing with respect to the adoption of said local law. And whereas the town board must refer the proposed zoning law amendments to the Clinton County Planning Board for review pursuant General Municipal Law, Section 239-M. And now therefore be it resolved that a public hearing be held by this town board with respect to the adoption of the aforesaid local law at 7 p.m. on January 10th, 2023, at the Town of Champlain Municipal Building, 10729 Route 9, Champlain, New York. And that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to cause all required public notices of said hearing to be given as provided by law, and that the proposed local law shall be referred to county planning in accordance with section 239-M 3A, that's 3 and 6 of the general municipal law and the Clinton County Planning Board. Motion to approve said resolution is written.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 25, as read by the supervisor.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Julie, to send the,
That was a mouthful, Tom.
yeah, no. The copy that I provided was in draft. Do you need that removed to send to the county?
Yeah.
Please remind me tomorrow. I'll do that for you. Resolution 26, introduction of local law number 1 of 2023. Introduction of local law number 1 of 2023 entitled Amendment to Chapter 130 Zoning, Section 3, subsection 130-98 and subsection 130-99 of the Code of the Town of Champlain. Whereas the Town of Champlain Town Board, the Town Board, revised the town zoning law standards for solar energy systems, Section 3, subsection 130-98 and subsection 130-99 under local law number 2 of 2022. And whereas the town board has identified the need to revise the town zoning law standards for solar energy systems, Section 3, subsection 130-98 and subsection 130-99 to remove Interstate 87, in brackets I-87, from the 500-foot setback restriction presently addressed in the town zoning law. And whereas the town board recognized that the restriction imposed of a 500 feet setback was imposed inaccurately due to the definition of lot setback found in section 3, subsection 130-51 terminology. And whereas the definition of lot frontage is the portion of lot abutting upon a street or road, and as there can be no such access from the interstate to any bordering properties, the intended restriction does not apply. And whereas the town board is now initiating the adoption process per subsection 272-A of town law, and now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Champlain does hereby introduce local law number 1 of 2023. Motion to approve said resolution is written.
I'll make a motion to approve that resolution, number 26.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
Yeah, last month we looked at the map, I remember doing that. I showed it.
Yes, that's right, we did. Next one in line, because there will be a resolution 29 for the seeker for that as well. 27, Town of Champlain water rates. So that's, I'll read that off. So I'll keep this to remind me to send you the other one. And we can discuss, during discussion, if there's any thoughts to this.
Yep.
Resolution number 27, Town of Champlain water rates for the Consolidated Water District. Whereas the Town of Champlain Town Board, the town board has identified the need to revise the water rates for a consolidated water district to meet the projected operation and maintenance, in brackets O&M. And whereas the O&M payment owed by the Town of Champlain for 2023 was adjusted accordingly by the Water Board as per the intermunicipal agreement, in brackets IMA, resulting in an increase of approximately 20%. And whereas the town board, if required, will adjust the water rates from time to time by resolution to meet the financial requirements of the water district. And therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Champlain does hereby set the water rates at $13.90 per thousand or per kgal for 2023. Motion to approve said resolution as written.
When is it effective?
It'll be effective
January.
January 1?
January 23, yep.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 27 as written by, or excuse me, as read by the supervisor.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Now, in regards to discussion, I mean, in my email, as it explained, we gotta come up with that $9,000
We have
to
to
make
do
that payment. I couldn't find another way to do this that made sense. I don't like doing it. It's not a lot to a single family owner. It's gonna hurt, I think, more with some of the commercial businesses, you know, their bills are gonna go up some more. I apologize, but the thing is, when you have a small district and a low number of users,
Right.
Economy of scale.
and, you know, I mean, we're gonna be addressing a repair of $40,000, I should say a deficit of $40,000 that we don't have the money for, that we may have to borrow, so to the users out there, I'm sorry, it is what it is. I don't know, has anybody got any thoughts on it? I mean, I don't know any other way to raise it. I thought about looking at, service fees, but it would be too great of a increase in the service fees, cause there's not enough users. This, based off the water usage of last year, will pick up that difference for the O and M.
Yeah, my calculations indicated from July of 21 through June of 22, there was about 10,401,000 gallons. So per kgal, we're talking about a little bit over $9,000 is what this would raise. So, and I don't see any other alternative as how you would come up with those funds.
Right.
So,
I know, I don't either.
so it's a
Necessary.
result of having good quality water. I guess is the best way I can put it.
The expenses at the water plant did increase. Our ratios have changed, and those are all factors, but regardless, it's, per that agreement, it's what we owe for 2023.
Correct.
It's an additional 20%.
Yep.
Any other thoughts?
No, I think we're doing the right thing.
I don't think we have a choice.
I don't think we have an alternative,
Right,
No.
we don't.
and that's the thing. Our hands are tied here. So,
So with that, because it's money, do I have to do roll call because it's changing a charge, would be best to do roll call?
I think you have to.
Yeah.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Which brings us to resolution 28. Resolution number 28, the Town of Champlain equivalent dwelling unit, brackets EDU, EDU rates for the consolidated water district. Whereas the Town of Champlain, Town Board, the Town Board, set the equivalent dwelling unit EDU rates at the beginning of the debt repayment schedule for the consolidated water district commencing in 2018 at $452 per EDU annually. And whereas the Town of Champlain billed quarterly at $113 per EDU per quarter, totaling $452 per EDU per year from 2018 to date, And whereas the town board, if required, will adjust the EDU rates from time to time by resolution to meet the fiscal requirements of the debt repayment for a consolidated water district. And whereas the town board has not required an adjustment to this rate, and therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Champlain does hereby set the EDU rate for the consolidated water district at $452 per EDU per year. Motion to approve said resolution as written.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 28 to keep the EDU rate at $452 per year.
Yes, it stays the same.
It has not changed, correct.
That's correct. And
So I wanna make sure people know that.
yes, this is being done to document that it has not changed. We're
Correct.
missing this resolution. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thanks. So, again, as in discussion, this was a formality. It needed to, hadn't been done since 18, so it had to be done.
Right.
Again, we'll need a roll call.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Okay. So the next item is review and approve the quotes for water booster pump station upgrades. But it goes in conjunction with the email I sent you on how are we gonna complete the project. I kinda think we gotta do that first in order to approve, because we got two phases in the project, in these RFPs, in these proposals.
Correct.
So I hope you had time to look at this and kind of digest what I'm trying to tell you. Did you get the email, Brian?
Did we do resolution number
We did.
29?
But yeah,
We did.
We did?
No, we didn't do
Yeah.
29.
29's,
Okay.
It's coming up on number 12, but
Okay.
I left it to the
he's
end.
got it.
You got me out
So
of
they're out of
order, and
order.
that's why I'm just wondering.
Yeah, that came as an afterthought, and I could jump
Sorry.
ahead, but I was following my
No,
agenda.
just
The
trying
next
to keep
thing-
us alert and checking on us, right?
Make sure you're awake, all right?
Yeah.
So has everybody had time to kind of digest what we're trying to tell you here, and I'm sure you're gonna have questions. But essentially, there's a shortfall of about 40,000 to complete the project. And complete the lift station as well, right? That's all part of it. The lift station, Sarah and I don't see any other way to pay for that upgrade other than with the ARPA funds. Because that small district, well, they only got, in savings, they only got $10,000. And they got 5,000 in that lift station. I mean, they've only got $15,000 in there. There's no way you're gonna pull from that to pay that 3674. So I don't see any other way to do it other than to put the ARPA funds towards that, which would leave us a shortfall in the booster station.
Correct.
Yeah. So that brings,
Do you think that we might hear from Billy Jones, you know, within a month or two?
yeah, I spoke to him, when was this dated? Because I just spoke to him. This was December 6th, I sent this out. It's Tuesday, I probably spoke to him on Monday, the 5th. And he said, give me some time. He said, I can't think of anything out there right now. You know, there's no leftover funds hanging in the state that he could grab from to try to help. His thought was, give me till March, and I'll build it into the budget, and I think I could probably pull that off. So it's a possibility. As he would build something into the budget to try to help us with this shortfall. So with that said, that's where my 1 and 2 come in on my 3 scenarios down here. I really don't wanna, what's your feelings of putting off phase 2, cause I don't have a good feeling about it. And the contractors that I spoke with on these proposals, both brought up the point, can be done, but please check, whoever you're buying the booster pump station from, make sure it doesn't impact that booster pump station by using the old tanks, and will it impact your warranty?
Which I bet it will, but.
I'm worried about the operation of it, because we don't know the condition of the inside of the tanks, of the bladders, are they gonna start leaking here at some point, we don't know. When I spoke to Jen, the engineer that did the work for AES, and told them that we had to look at this in 2 phases because we weren't gonna have enough money to cover it, she was like, I don't wanna tell you what to do, but she goes, try to find some way to do the tanks, she goes, I don't have a good feeling of leaving them back. It's kinda like putting 3 new tires in your car and leaving 1 bald one.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird way to put it,
Yeah,
but
that's-
I
yeah.
just thought of that. So I don't have a good gut feeling of not doing both phases, and I know it's a problem. Sarah's, she goes with my number 2.
I was just gonna say,
That's the one I had chosen also.
Yeah,
because it would give
some time.
some time.
It gives us some time. For one thing, the lead time, as soon as we approve these, I'll finally be able to try to order equipment. It's probably gonna take 3-4 months to get that equipment in. So we're probably looking at spring at the earliest
Correct.
to do this work. So hopefully by then we'll have an idea if there's any chance of getting some funding from the state.
It's,
And if there isn't,
There's no certainty. So I think you're really down to option 2 and 3. You know, that word hopefully is like the word if, smallest word in the dictionary, but it means the most, right? Carries the most weight.
True.
So, and then I think that paying the additional $1,062 in interest outweighs that alternative 3, so.
yeah. So we kinda crunched the numbers of the water plant itself. And it's like barring rather, that nothing drastic happens and breaks. Even if we didn't get the money and we had to do the loan, we could probably make those 2 payments, but it's gonna be awful tight.
And are we certain, and because the term is shorter than alternative 3, that they can't go any lower than that 5.1%?
No, they can, if we wait till summer, we really don't know what's gonna happen. There's word that the feds are gonna raise the rates 1 more time, so it could end up being a little bit more interest. You know, so that faces you with, do you take it now at 5 and gamble, or that it won't go down? Or, but from what I'm hearing, they're gonna raise it possibly next month, but have you guys heard that as well?
I don't think the inflation's sunk enough for them not to raise it 1 more time. I mean, we're around 7% now, but I still don't.
In the November numbers, it looks like it tamped it down a little bit.
Correct.
But it's not enough.
Not enough.
Right.
I mean, if that was down a, full percentage point, 1.5% maybe, but.
So, yeah. They probably are.
So what we'd probably have to do, if we choose this, okay? When I order this equipment, we're gonna need to keep these 2 phases invoiced separately. Therefore, phase 1 can get paid with ARPA,
Yep,
okay? Phase 2 is gonna have to be from our
from the loan.
loan, from either, from the A fund and or the bank.
Right.
So we're probably gonna have to move from the A fund as soon as I order equipment, because I'm sure we're gonna have to put a down payment on those tanks.
We think so, yeah.
So we're gonna move the whole 39,000, whatever it is, once we crunch the numbers, once we choose the contractor. And it'll be there, and we're just gonna need to, at some point, put it back where it belongs before the end of the fiscal year. So I'm hoping by, like I said, by mid-year, we've got a solution and we move it. I think it's the best thing we can do. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I just got too bad gut feeling that we don't do that phase two.
If, I always try and look at it, if it was my house, you know, if I had to, I was replacing the water pump and everything, I'd replace the pressure tank at the same time. I mean, it's not the exact same thing,
It's a
but,
good comparison, Brian.
but, you know, you don't wanna go back in a year or put in.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's so much simpler when people are there and
Yes.
you're getting it worked on and everything's put together at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's really good work.
It is. One contractor said there'd be minimal differences in the quote if it held off for a year. But if it held off more than that, then definitely it's gonna change.
But he
The other-
can't guarantee
You
that
can't
either.
guarantee it. The other one said that there would have to be a labor charge because labor's gonna increase. And then they pointed out, and your little things like small load charge on concrete, cause now you could be pouring a pad for the booster station and you're not pouring a pad for the tanks until a year later. And it just, to me, it doesn't make sense. I know it's not
It's piecemeal.
it's a solution. I'm not excited about it, but it's a solution.
Yeah.
So everybody's in agreement to go with that scenario two, we'll move
Yeah.
the funds from A over, get the equipment ordered.
Yep.
And I'll keep working with, the assembly to see if they can find some, and if not, then we'll just, at some point, have to watch the interest rates and decide if we borrow or not. I mean, you could borrow now, and if you feel you're gonna lock in a lower rate. It just seems cleaner to do it this way, and wait and see what happens. And maybe you don't have any finance charges. I think that's what Sarah's hoping for, is that if he comes through, then we don't have any finance charges to worry about at all.
That would be nice.
Risking what, probably 0.5% or 1%?
Yeah, I don't think it'd be more than 3/4%.
Right.
So, I mean, you do the math on that, it's still minimal.
Probably just hundreds difference per year, right?
P times R times T, I don't know, I'd have to run it.
Yeah.
I think, but
I don't think it's important. If you all agree with that, that solves that portion.
Yeah.
Should we put that in form of a motion? Or do we
I
need
don't know if
to?
that has to go in a motion, does it? I guess it does, because one, you're moving funds from the A fund to be available to pay for the equipment, so I think it does, yes.
It's the collective decision.
I agree, yeah.
Okay. All right, so we need, yeah, now you're gonna want an exact amount though.
Oh, we can say up to,
Can we say up to 40?
why can't we say up to an amount, right?
Yeah, that works.
We've done that in the past.
Okay. Okay, so we need a motion to move up to $40,000 from general A into water.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any discussion, further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you. Now, quotes. Have you had time to look them over, because they're so close?
Well, one of them doesn't include a scope of proposal. One of them doesn't indicate things it doesn't cover. But then I have questions in regards to, the non-inclusion on some of these things, like, for example, lifts and storage to be provided by the town if necessary. Well, what are the costs for that? So those are costs that we're not including on top of this.
Okay, which one Let's see if we
So,
can
that's,
figure
that's
this
the
out.
LH LaPlante Company Incorporated.
Yep. You were referring to which bullet item?
Under not included, bulleted item number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I think you raised a very good point, and that is, by doing what we're looking to do, what does it do in terms of the warranty on what's presently there?
Yeah.
You mean by, if we were to separate the phases?
Right.
Yeah. I know, I would have to have those conversations with whatever company we find to make this thing. I
Right.
had one contact me from Albany, and he's supposed to be doing up a quote, and that's been about, well, I think it's been since December 6th. I haven't heard back from him yet.
So, that was my only concern, is that there's no scope with the other company, Pipeline Mechanical.
I can tell you, in speaking to both of them, I put them in the same class, you know, seriously. And did you bring up something about lifts and storage to be, yeah,
You know,
That's that second bulleted item.
Yeah, they have a
So-
lot of stuff that's not
That-
included.
that's because there was quite a charge for that on the original quote, and I questioned it, and I said, well, so I checked with Alan, and we can unload a truck if the truck shows up with a booster pump. And if for some reason we're not ready to install it, it can sit here in a bay in the garage. Cause what they were doing is renting, containers,
Oh, they were.
yeah, and a lift.
And there, our front end loader, or whatever he's gonna move it with, fits in there, no problem, and
Yeah, he'll use the skid steer. he
skids
said.
there, okay.
Yeah. And the other thing that we're doing is we're removing all the metal debris, you know, all the old pumps, all that stuff, and
Mhm.
putting it in the scrap pile to be sold for scrap, instead of paying to have them get rid of it.
Hmm.
That's on both of them.
That removal's a big cost, so.
I have spoke with both of them about, once we choose somebody and we get to doing this project, there is some room, I think, to shave a couple $1,000s off. They both agree, instead of paying a contractor to remove every ounce of insulation off the piping that's currently there and paint the pipes and put new insulation, I'd like to just remove a section and see what it looks like. There's a section that's got some bumps and tears in it, and if the piping's in good condition there, both of these men agreed,
But the rest of it would be fine.
yeah, so we could probably save a
So
$1,000.
that's a lot of hours.
We'd probably save $1,000 or $2 right there, and there may be a couple of other spots, they both said we're probably doing a little overkill. I won't shave anything off that's gonna,
Now, would it be this technician that would be doing that work? That they note at the bottom?
At $88.50
At
an hour.
$89 an hour?
probably.
Prevailing wages.
So I just, well, I think there's a skill set here that, you know, nobody else can compare with, so,
Right.
but,
Those are prevailing wage rates, I'm sure, too.
oh yes, I'm sure they are.
At this point, pipeline is a couple of $1,000 or $650 less.
Right.
I mean,
They're close, aren't they?
yeah,
It was scary how close these guys came.
Timeline, I mean, there's no timeline on either one of these, what are we looking at?
Well, the
Once they
plan,
start,
the plan is that we're gonna have to shut the water down on day one. Cut the valve off the booster station, okay? Cut the brackets and stuff that hold it in place, get it removed. There's something that has to be done to that water pipe, I can't remember what it is, but then seal it back up
okay?
and then start the water back up and so we'll probably cause a boil water order on that day.
Right.
Then we will have one customer on the end that will be in that condition until they get this done, and they're thinking it's about a week.
It is that long.
But, well, nobody will be out of water,
Right.
but the one on the end will be low pressure, cause there'll be no booster. So we'll have to deal, you know, we're gonna have to work with
With that customer.
with all the customers,
Yeah.
and how we're gonna be scheduling this once we get to that point. And we're gonna have to work with that customer and do whatever we need to do for them, provide them drinking water.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever they need. I mean, they'll still have water for washing and stuff, it's just that it's underneath the guidelines,
Okay.
less than 20 PSI.
Okay.
It's really too bad that when you guys did that test a couple of years ago, that we couldn't have eliminated this thing. It's another additional cost to this water district. But it was put in the 90s, so if we fix it, we should be good for a while.
Let's hope so.
So what do you think, guys? Which one do you wanna go with?
You've talked to both?
I have. I'm
I
telling you.
guess my inclination is to identify with what other, water booster pump stations that these two companies have done. And, references from those municipalities or whomever, that, would kind of identify with, you know, any,
Problems they
Yeah.
have, or?
yeah, kind of headed off at the pass.
Okay,
So,
Well, once bitten, twice shy, right?
I'm not gonna bid again. That won't happen again.
okay, so.
Good, I'm glad to hear that.
References from whatever water municipalities they've done.
That
work
they've
at,
done, that's right,
you
that's
know.
right. Yep.
Booster station might not be one of them,
Well,
although
that might not be.
there is one in the town of Beamantown, maybe one of these guys are the ones that did it.
Possible. So, and I have no idea in terms of identifying how long each of these companies have been around. Usually longevity is measured with, you know, final product, but not always.
All right, so you wanna table this until our year-end meeting?
We can do that, and maybe even if, I wonder if Pipeline Mechanical can just get us a, you know, a scope in terms of what this, and, because right now it's only a cost estimate breakdown, there's nothing else there.
The other's more
Thorough.
comprehensive.
Do they got some plans and specs from us?
That they're using the, yes, the specs that the AES had drawn up. This is
Right.
what
So
they're-
that might have a lot of those questions answered in that,
It should, I mean, this is kinda like what they're following.
as per plans and specs that we
Right.
provided, so it might, right, it might be in there.
Cause it's, I mean, if you're looking here, there's even detail on how to, you know, treat the concrete and the block fillers, and there's instructions on how to put this thing together, basically. What all the standards are.
Well, in regards to that, I mean, you know, Pipeline's the only one that references AES's Project 5101. LH plant does not, so I don't know.
Well, like I told you, from my experience, working with the two of them and meeting them,
They seem very comparable.
extremely comparable, and I think that the quotes speak volumes when they come in that close.
That close,
It tells you they both know what they're doing,
yeah.
you know? When you get quotes that are miles away, then you go, okay,
Yeah, patting
who knows what they're doing, who doesn't? But in this case, I'm impressed. Pipeline is the one that put the elbow in,
There,
yep, they're the ones that did that work.
okay, so that's one
That was
piece.
done, that was done well, efficiently.
Okay,
good.
And they are a couple bucks shorter, it's so close, it's not funny.
satisfied with that, what they did there, that makes me lean towards something that we can concrete say, oh, this was done right, and the other was, you know, still up in the air.
And they have done work there before, you know, and they're a little more familiar with it. So we're gonna.
I don't know.
Rick, if Pipeline would have put some of the same information, that scope stuff that LaPlante did, would you go with them? They would have had that on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's enough of a cost difference to, you know,
Lean one way or the
No.
other to that, yeah.
no, I just, the scope is concrete, you know exactly what they're doing. Um,
Is that just a matter of following up with them, just find out if they,
Would provide that?
yeah?
Okay.
Or if they omitted it because they thought it was covered in that,
AES, yeah.
correct?
Yeah, well, that's what they say, that, you know, the bid is based on the specs.
That's what I'm
provided by
wondering.
the town.
Cause they mention it specifically in
Oh,
the
yeah,
RE,
they do, yeah.
so I don't know.
As per plans and specs, so.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pretty, I don't know if you guys.
And just ask them what other municipalities that they worked with and done similar types of installation. I'm just curious, so.
Okay, so we'll table it till the December blah 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 meeting.
Okay.
I'll see if I can get, if he's willing to give you some sort of a scope, but I think he's gonna say it's all in there.
Okay.
But I'll see if I can get any references from either of them.
Should we run this by AES, the two bids, or,
I think I have,
okay,
I've sent them to Brad. He's seen both of them. He blessed either one,
You did,
yeah.
alright, so that tells me enough then.
Yes, I did do that.
I don't know if it's because I'm closer to the door, but my God, I'm freezing in here. Are any of you guys cold?
I'm not, but I got this jacket on this.
I'm not cold, but
No?
I got a nice little sweater on.
put your coat on.
Well, I
Yeah,
don't
go
have
ahead.
to do that.
Go ahead.
Cause I do have a wool sweater and a scarf
So
on.
what's your pleasure now? Still table it, see if they have references or?
I'd like to see references, I mean,
Okay.
I just think if I was gonna look at
Good.
this being similar to hiring somebody,
Yeah.
I wanna know what the background looks like,
Okay.
so.
References are a good thing.
All right, we'll make that decision in a few weeks.
That's fine.
The good news is that we've decided what we're doing in regards to funding, so I can start working on ordering the equipment.
Mhm.
That's gotta get going as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what that turnaround timeline is gonna look like.
The guy that from Albany, I'm sure there's a note on my desk, I don't remember his name, but he was saying 3 to 4 months.
What is that?
He said for one thing, he says, the VFDs, there's none to be found. You know, it's just like
Yeah.
chips in the car,
Yeah,
well, VFDs in regards to this thing. Okay,
What does VFD stand for?
variable frequency drive. So it's like a cruise control for the motor, more or less.
Oh, okay. Thank you for putting it in terms I can understand. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Okay, so that's done, so now we got the quotes for the comp plan. So let's figure out which of, well, we have 3, but we decided that one was we felt was out of our reach. And we were looking at these 2 closely, and you asked me to do some homework, and I'm sure I did it, so you just have to throw those questions back at me. Okay, I think one of them was the experience you're looking at? Rick, do you remember the questions?
You know, to be honest, it's been so long, I don't recall.
It was, so in regards to River Street, just, you know, for FYI, Monica's no longer with them, she now works for the state of New York.
Oh,
So, in regards to the zoning, they are weak now. She was a zoning
Correct.
expert
So
for,
who's picked up her spot?
for the firm. The principal engineer, what the heck's her name? She is gonna be doing it, and they are gonna be using a consultant to help fill in that position. What is her name? Margaret Irwin, is it? Can't remember. But anyways, I had that conversation with them, because I think that one of the questions was in regards to the zoning.
Right.
The zoning would definitely be separate on this, right? They would not throw that in. AES would throw it in.
Correct.
I think we had questions in regards to the experience in the comp plan itself, and that's where River Street was stronger, because its principal planner has done many comp plans compared to here.
Correct.
They're stronger in the zoning. I guess that's the best way I could put it. This one's much stronger in the zoning, and we'll do it, let me correct myself, do the grant application.
That's right.
Not the revisions.
So it takes some of the funding responsibilities away from the town,
Yes,
and that's a big piece.
yes,
Mhm.
that's what it
think.
was.
mhm.
Well, I'm not, did we do this last month or the month before?
2 months ago, I think it was.
Had to be, because I'm not remembering, so, yes, that's what it was, so Brad said, yes, they would easily do the application for the grants for the revisions of the zoning. Here, no, it wasn't included, and then strength-wise, the comp plan has more strength in this organization than this organization, but they're bringing somebody in to work with.
And I think the only question I is that,
And she has a lot of experience.
is could we separate one doing the comp, one doing the zoning, because of their strengths? But again,
Well, I think we'd
what
have-
that does to the cost that's
Yeah, right.
being charged is gonna be, so.
What is that for that?
That's Rob,
It's a Christmas truck. Robbie just went by.
Oh,
So I think essentially, yes, that's what we're gonna end up, we're gonna have to re-choose again. I mean, I know I put it together in the RFP, but it doesn't mean we have to, award that whole package.
but it seems simpler and more streamlined to stay with one company. I mean,
That's my feeling.
and there's gotta be a little bit of overlap between the comprehensive and the zoning. I mean,
There is, because the comprehensive plan is the tool that drives the changes in the
In
zoning.
the zone, yes.
and to me, no matter which one we pick, we should, I mean, it would seem to be better to have them, one company do both.
I agree.
So, with that said, I think it's important that you choose someone who has strength in zoning, because that's part of building that comp plan. I mean, you need,
Sounds like a
I'm sure the comp
fundamental.
plans they built before, they were both working together at it, and the zoning expert was guiding as well.
For the grant application, would that be covered under AES, their proposal, but not under Main Street?
That would be a separate charge, so
So,
$2,000 for sure.
Correct.
Well,
pretty close in price too, weren't they?
They,
No, I don't think they were as close as.
One was more
Not as close as these
expensive.
other two.
It was,
I wanna say River Street was slightly more expensive.
I did, that's
it
what I
was
thought
more
too.
expensive, I think.
It's in the front page, I believe. I didn't have time to refresh myself with this today, I'm sorry.
I have a bias anyway with the AES. My son works there, in an internship, and so I know a little bit more about it.
I know them through association with being an employee at the school with the technology.
Yeah,
Well, the other thing is too is, what's his name, Julie? That did his zoning, he's the last one that did our revisions. He's done this for the town before,
oh, really?
yeah.
Mhm.
He was,
Scott Allen.
thank you, that's it,
You're good,
yeah.
never good, memory is so bad for names.
Here it is, I'm gonna find it. Yeah, he's the managing partner and director of surveying, mapping, and planning services, so he's the one that was, if you read in here, he did the town of Champlain
Mhm.
a while back. How come I'm not finding the price? Maybe I need to go to the copies that I put in the packet.
And you liked what they did with the school?
Yeah, they were very professional. They seemed to, when you had questions, they'd get back to you.
Yeah, that's so important.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Get
no
that
question,
feedback, yeah.
no question.
Does anybody have the copy that has the numbers on it? I don't.
I
I'm
got this
looking
one
now.
here, I got
Right.
this one here, which is from August, I don't know if that's,
Yeah, it's August 25th.
Okay.
90,000,
I think that sounds right.
90,000 for AES.
That's what was in my head, it was around there.
Give me a second, I'll get to this. There it is, it's on page 3 or 4, under fees. And then,
What'd you find on the River Street?
you know, I think
I
you're gonna
thought they
find.
were lower for some reason.
The AES as well?
No, I thought they was lower, but I don't know why. I don't think I have a copy of that.
You must be right.
The replacement at River Street, she have as much experience in the comp plan area?
No, they've got somebody that's fairly new, and it's not a permanent replacement, it's somebody that's gonna be filling in and helping,
No.
is how it was explained to me.
104.50,
Yeah,
Thank
see,
River Street.
River Street, 104,
1045?
104.5 is correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought for some reason it was the other way around, I don't know why, but.
Yeah, River Street came in more expensive. And just based on what you told us, that they have a personnel change there,
Yeah.
Yeah,
been more expensive.
yeah, decisions made.
Maybe,
For me.
maybe
Maybe we don't need to think about it much.
Yeah,
No,
I
I'm
mean,
good.
and plus I like that they can apply for the grant.
That's the
Yes,
biggest part.
That's
Yeah,
huge,
that's-
that right
that's
there is
huge.
Well, if you,
huge.
I think the cost difference, if you think about it, I mean, we're gonna be responsible for 10%,
Correct.
you know, so if it's over $10,000 difference
Right.
Makes
Hmm,
a big, big
without
help.
the application.
Almost 15,000,
Yeah.
so.
Would be
Yeah,
a
I
fiscally
I mean, it's
responsible.
1500, you know, it's money.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable thing to go with AES. I mean, everything seems to kind of nudge us that way, and we're working with AES on the pump station and stuff, so they're gonna be around anyway, so.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to.
Yes,
Yes, Julie, Julie's
Julie.
Julie's like,
I'll make a motion
Let's
to
go home.
award
Get there.
the
Well, we can be there.
comprehensive plan
comprehensive plan
and zoning.
and zoning to AES for the $90,000, subject to approval by our legal counsel. And
Good idea.
I think it's, for that kind of money, I think we should have Matt just take a quick
Oh, yeah. Gander.
look at it, yeah. I mean,
It's been too long, I think I did send them to him. But
Oh,
I'll
okay.
send it out again,
well,
just to
I
be
mean,
sure.
it would be good if, I mean,
Mhm.
Anytime you spend this amount of money, I
Yeah.
think you need to have a legal set of eyes.
yep,
Yeah,
I'll second the motion.
okay, thank you. Any further discussion?
No, I'm good.
No, I'm good too.
We'll have to get emails out to the other two. Emails out to all three, actually. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Boring,
Aye.
Councilmember Ward,
all right.
Councilmember Hunter.
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you. So that brings us to Resolution 29, Brian.
Right.
Resolution classifying the proposed Town of Champlain Local Law Number 1 of 2023 as a Type 1 action under State Environmental Quality Review, seeker. And to propose that the Town of Champlain Town Board serve as a lead agency to conduct an uncoordinated review under seeker. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Champlain may amend its zoning law by the adoption of Local Law Number 1, 2023, amendment to Chapter 130 zoning, subsection 130-98 and subsection 130-99 of the Code of the Town of Champlain as amended in local law of 2022. And whereas 6 NYCRR Part 617 of the State Environmental Quality Review Act, seeker, requires that a lead agency be established for conducting environmental review of projects in accordance with local and state environmental law. And whereas state law specifies that for actions governed by local environmental review, the lead agency shall be that local agency which has primary responsibility for approving and carrying out the action. And whereas this is a type 1 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, and whereas the town board is the local agency with sole responsibility for approving the action, now therefore be it resolved that no other involved agencies have been identified, and therefore the town will undertake uncoordinated review of the action. And be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Champlain hereby declares itself lead agency for the environmental review of local law number 1 of 2023. Motion to approve resolution 29.
I'll make the motion to approve resolution 29.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
I forgot to ask, no further discussion, right?
No.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we'll have a secret review in January. Old business, I have not had a chance to do anything further with the dog law.
Okay. How about the noise ordinance? I know you sent it to Brian, but I didn't know where we were with it.
Have you looked at it, Brian? It's
Yeah.
on my desk. I started reading it a few days ago and then got totally sidetracked again.
Because I know there were some issues in terms of questions brought up at the planning meeting in regards to noise with the small motors that would be running and stuff. But I just think the sooner we get something like that in place, we're gonna be ahead of the curve come next summer. So,
It would be awesome to send the noise ordinance, dog law, and the
I agree.
water code all one time. I know.
We could throw a ticker tape parade after that.
Would you have time now that you're feeling a little bit better, maybe to dig into that a little more?
Yeah,
if you have questions, let me know.
yes.
So I have an electronic copy if you want an electronic copy too. That way it'd be easier probably for you to
Yeah.
just kind of put in your own notification notes and.
Yeah, I like
I
that.
think I sent it to Tom, but I don't think I sent it, I don't know if I
You what?
CC'd him. Did I CC him?
I don't know, but I'll try to remember to send it over.
And in terms of, just new business, if, maybe in January we can start to address issues in terms of regulating for Airbnbs, whether to regulate, not regulate, I think that, this is something that town needs to look at. Also in regards to.
We will be looking at it in that comp plan, so hopefully.
I know
it's-
that, so we need to start that now, so that we can kind of get ahead of the curve. And I did look into your email in regards to the Thriving Communities Initiative, and I don't think this applies to the sewer piece that we were looking at.
Yeah.
So, I didn't see it anyway.
I didn't see.
And you know,
either.
and I was gonna
didn't
reach out to
spend much
Monica,
time.
but once she left, then I was like, I don't even know if that's a direction we wanna even pose that question to them, so.
Yeah, to them, but, yeah, you wouldn't really use her for that. She is, our, contact with the state in regards to zoning,
Right,
okay, in her new position.
okay,
So
Oh.
any zoning questions, you know, on stuff with resolutions, whatever, I can contact her and do that, but that'd be a little outside the scope.
that is outside, but it is something that moving forward with the sewer project, we're gonna have to kind of identify as many sources of funding as possible,
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
so, but definitely not now.
Any other old business put in front of the board or new business? Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Oh, wait, we never set the meeting.
Oh, we never went back to that, Rick, that's right.
What's that?
Or
Darn.
set a final meeting for
The,
Oh.
December.
for
Uh,
December.
What were your dates you have?
Well, the 28th said you have to bring him back, so.
I
I'm
do.
I'm okay on the 29th, the Thursday.
29th works.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep,
29th is
that
good.
works. And, I'll see if I can, get in here maybe the 26th or you're not open the 26th, 27th, and look through the, if I can have those court
Yes.
Yep, documents out, and I'll look through that,
Okay, that's a good plan.
okay?
What time do you guys wanna meet on the 29th?
I'm open right now.
Not at 9.
Jay, you have play practice?
No, I don't think so, not in the morning, I won't. No.
Okay.
So if you wanna do it in the morning, that's fine.
Well, how about more like 10?
Does 10 work for you?
It
10's
could.
good for me too.
Yeah.
I'm not a morning person, but
That's
I have
fine.
worse speed.
Is that okay with the rest of the board?
Yeah.
Oh, I suppose. No, it's fine. So 10 AM on the 29th.
Yeah, on the 29th.
And
And
Long day for you,
make a note, we'll have to address that, those two bids for booster station that day too, please, and thank you.
Also, we're gonna, transfer funds too, right?
Yes.
Wasn't there?
The transfer, yeah, the corrected.
So we do have that,
transfer.
Approve the, transfer of funds. yes.
correct.
So that needs to be on the agenda. Plus,
Okay.
I'm sure there'll be additional transfers and stuff at the closeout too,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Okay. Now we'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting for the day.
I second that motion.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 8:34.
I think we've made a record tonight.
Well, considering 12 items of new business.
A lot of
it's
different
not-
things.
Not bad.
Yeah, we had a lot of good discussion too. It wasn't like we rushed through anything. Right, Julie? It's a long day for you. You work all day and
I know, and
having to come to the planning meetings and the
it is a lot.
town meetings.
Good thing she's still young.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right, Julie.
Oh, this is, my wife wanted me to kind of, bring these in and share. These are chocolate with white peanut butter. I know, Brian.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you're
Chocolate only.
doing,
It's chocolate, and then there's chocolate with snowflakes, there's a mint, so
Ah.
I wanna offer at least.
Well, I'm gonna check my blood sugar.
Okay, check your blood sugar first, then we'll.
And that's how you do it?
Yeah,
That is so cool.
yeah, you know, like that.
So the snowflakes are the mint,
Okay, I like
yeah,
that.
okay.
I like
And then these are,
anything with chocolate on, I like it,
these
so
are,
you couldn't
these
go
are
wrong.
mint, these are just chocolate with peanut butter, and then the others are just chocolate.
They look lovely, Rick, but I'm gonna have to say
Okay,
no.
that's all right, now,
Which one's the chocolate?
No,
chocolate,
Kathy's such a
this
good
is
cook.
just plain chocolate, this is chocolate with peanut butter, and these are mint. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're gonna miss
Yeah.
out on these?
Julie, you want one of these before you run out the door?
Do you
Hey,
shut
too,
the
Julie.
camera?
Probably not. These are mint, these are just chocolate, these are
peanut butter.
chocolate with peanut butter, so chocolate peanut butter.
You're good.
And I'm gonna leave the rest of these off for people
Okay.
here, okay?
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Good night, Julie.
Good night. I don't think he shut that off.
I don't think he did either, but
I don't know how to do it.
Calvin,
Calvin can edit it.
Calvin can get an extra. Bye, Julie.
Bye Julie, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, but say
Oh,
don't
that's
see you
right, I'll
there.
see you before then.
Oh, that's right, it was.
No, it won't be till after. So can I
You
put,
shut off now?
can I put this
I
on the
will see you
bulletin board?
I don't think so.
I don't see why not, or
Alright.
leave it on the
Okay.
side.
So I went through
Lovely
carefully and
Christmas.
kind of added,
Thank
you know,
Thanks.
what I thought was relevant to, you know, just not the.
Others can be
No, it's good, I'm glad you did that.
not complicated, is it?
No, you just put stop.
Push stop? I'd like to
Yeah,
push
there's
it
a-
over.
There's a, it should be red, I think. Is it red?
I see nothing red, yet. I see a little dot way up here that's red. Is it okay?
Buttons are red.
Yeah.